Greetings, whiskey folk, and welcome back to Drinking Out Loud, where I, Adam Bradshaw from the Strath, am here to tell you all about the Maverick. And, well, I say tell you all about the Maverick. Realistically, I'm going to put a link in the description to a better video that's going to tell you all about the Maverick, because the person that this was bottled in honour of has a video where he himself is tasting it, and frankly, there's nothing I can do or say that will have anything better to say than he has to say himself. So, link in the description to that video, and you should definitely check that out. Who is it in honour of? Well, the guy on my screen behind me, of course, Mr. Pip. Pip Hills, the founder of the SMWS 40 years ago this year. He himself, of course, was a Maverick, and I have it on good authority from the mouth of Pip himself that he's very proud of what the SMWS has become, and how they've taken not the straight up initial concept of what he was doing, but the idea behind what he was doing and really run with it. So, of course, Pip started the SMWS 40 years ago to be a club that solely featured single cask, single malt Scotch whisky. And it feels like every few years another rule is broken from that initial thing. And, you know, isn't that what being a Maverick is all about? Breaking rules, but purposefully. And I think that is what the SMWS has been doing for the last 40 years. Breaking rules set by other people, but more importantly, rules set by themselves. And, yeah. I think that's an important thing for everyone to do, you know. Get outside of your comfort zone, break a few rules every now and again. Be a Maverick. Now, this is an awesome whiskey. It was incredibly popular in, you know, every SMWS community around the world. It sold out in the UK, of course, pretty quickly from what I understand. And, yeah, we're probably one of the last people to get it because it takes a long time to cut through all of the red tape here in BC, or in Canada in general. So it's a blessing and a curse. Sometimes we're the last place to have a particularly cool bottle, but on the flip side, we're the last place to get a particularly cool bottle, which means we've still got some left when the rest of the world is run out already. Anyway, cool bottling. Let's put some in my glass, shall we? I've tried this twice already. Looking forward to a third time. This was really popular at the Outturn tastings. But of course, we did save a couple of bottles for the digital release, which has happened already. By the time this video has gone out, it happens at 10 o'clock on the first Friday, or actually this month, I should say, the second Friday, because I followed suit with our sister stores, and we, in honor of the fact that it was a long weekend, we put it off, so that those who took the weekend off or were away with family or had other plans didn't miss out. So yeah. Second Friday, this month only, and any other month where a holiday gets in the way, frankly. Just, you know, we're breaking our own rules. First Friday, asterisk. So, let's have a look at the official SMWS tasting notes for this whiskey, with a little bit of a background information as well. The definition of a Maverick is an unorthodox or independent-minded person. In 1983, Pip Hills founded the Scotch Malt Whisky Society based on an idea that everyone said wouldn't work. Pip wanted to bottle whiskey straight from the cask, unadulterated, because it retained maximum flavour. And he was right. People loved it, and the society was born. He was a Maverick in its truest form. This expression is a celebration of the iconic sherry cask. For its creation, we selected some bourbon hogsheads of Speyside single malt. We moved the whiskey to a selection of Oloroso and Pedro Jimenez seasoned hogsheads, all made from Spanish oak, for varying length of additional maturation, between 2 and 3.5 years. We then blended the cask together to create this dark and rewarding dram. The aromas of freshly waxed natural marble floors, mosaics and terrazzo, I don't know how to say that, tiles, were followed by a fruity scent from apricot, peaches and plums, before a cup of Assam tea and fig, apple and raisin bread pudding joined the party. On the palate, we found American-style blueberry and banana pancakes with lemon juice and maple syrup, as well as cardamom and orange spice rhubarb on top of fluffy French toast. Following dilution, we discovered dark chocolate, marshmallows, and sherry mango trifle to taste a traditional blood and sand cocktail named after a 1922 film about a Spanish matador using equal parts of Scotch, sweet vermouth, cherry liqueur, and orange juice. I should try one of those. That sounds lovely. All right. Every time a cocktail comes up, I say I'm going to try one, but to be brutally honest, there's very few whiskey cocktails that I've found that I prefer more than just having the whiskey that's in them on their own. I like cocktails. I really like whiskey. Yeah. This is a glorious salute to the man himself, and a glorious salute to the sherry cask. It really is. As I mentioned before, having that mix of European and American oak, and in this case a mix of ex-sherry and ex-bourbon, really does wonders to the complexity of a whiskey. And this is absolutely in that. I mentioned in the last video my penchant for liking blended whiskies. This is a blend of casks, absolutely, but it's not actually a blend of different distillates or different single malts. This is all from the same distillery. And I'm not allowed to tell you what distillery it is, and frankly I don't know what distillery it is. That's just another rule that this maverick of a whiskey is breaking from the SMWS. And the whole idea of the SMWS is it doesn't really matter. But if I was going to celebrate Pip Hill's 40 years of having the SMWS, there's a specific Speyside that might be important to that story. And I'm not saying this is or isn't, but if I was to guess purely, I mean, honestly, not really based on the profile of the whiskey, well, a little bit based on the profile of the whiskey, but purely from the story, that would be my guess. But I don't know. I have no idea. So this is a 12-year aged whiskey. The youngest component was distilled on the 21st of June 2010, because that's how any whiskey that's a blend of more than one distillate works. It's always the age of the youngest component that is stated. 2,098 bottles of this were bottled so that everyone around the world could enjoy it. Bottled at 50% ABV. So this is kind of, from what I understand, this isn't officially part of the Heresy range, even though it ticks a lot of boxes that the Heresy range ticks. I don't think this is part of the Heresy range, because I believe, and I might be wrong here, Kelly and Rob, if you have better information, please let me know. But I believe the idea behind the Heresy range is that they can be recreated at a later date, and there might be more editions, like we've had a second version of the Peat Fairy already. I think the idea behind this is it's a one and done, never to be seen again. So I think that is the reason that it's theoretically not part of the Heresy range. Maybe it is part of the Heresy range. I don't know. Doesn't say it anywhere on the bottle. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, beautiful 12-year Speyside. And yeah, it's a part of the thing that you can do with blending several casks together is, yes, consistency, and that's, the original reason why people did that. Or the biggest reason why people still do that. But also, as we've seen from companies like Compass Box, for example, it's not just about consistency sometimes, it's about being playful with the flavour, creating new concoctions, and also, frankly, to round off some of the rough edges that some casks have. And I'm not saying that any of these casks have any round edges, but I can tell you that the end result is a particularly well-balanced whiskey. A classic sherried nose that really does remind me of official bottlings more than indie bottlings, in that sense that it has that complexity from different casks. It has the nutty dryness of a good Oloroso cask, but it has this nice sort of sweet semi-dried fruit from the like figs and dates from the PX. It's buttery, it's scotchy, it's butterscotchy, it's caramelly, it's vanilla forward as well. It's a little bit of everything. If you like whiskey, you will like this whiskey. That's the kind of whiskey that it is. It's a crowd pleaser in the best sense of the word. Yeah, absolutely wonderful. I do remember, despite it being 50%, I do remember liking a couple of drops of water in this one, so... Yeah. So, same as last time I tried this, I find it a little bit less sweet with water. And honestly, that, for me right now, is a good thing. Not that I dislike sweetness in whiskies, but it lets other flavours that are going on in this whiskey stand out more. Lots of dried apricot now. Now that I've taken the sweetness down a little bit, it's easier to discover the types of dried fruits that I'm tasting. And it's not just the figs and dates I mentioned before. It is lighter fruits like apricot. I almost want to say like a dried kiwi fruit as well. If you ever had like a kiwi, the chewy bits of dried kiwi, they're lovely. Beautiful whiskey. Big fan. Available in short supply here at the Strath. That's strathliquor.com/SMWS for $215.57. Again, I'm reading it out like it's a cask number. $215.57. There we go. That's much better. Yeah. Strictly one bottle per member, I believe, on this one. And yeah. It'll never be seen again. 40 years with the SMWS. Join in the celebration. And I'll see you on the next video. Thanks much.
Folks out here